Hello everybody, what's up, and welcome to the channel where we learn to be true heroes in the world of Overwatch. Today I have another VoD review. This one was sent in by a player named Mikayak, who is playing Tracer. He says, I struggle with finalizing my kills. I quite often tend to get distracted or pushed off the target, and I end up not killing the guy I was after. I also tend to struggle with gaining access to the enemy's supports, usually because they're so well defended. Any tips? Well, that's great, because Tracer is a hero that grapples with these specific issues. This is like 90% of playing Tracer, is figuring out how to finalize kills, how to utilize your burst DPS, and how to get into good position. Now, Tracer is a hero that doesn't have a lot of raw DPS, not a lot of health, so she's really bad in a one-on-one frontal fight where like they march up to you, you march up to them. Now you're going to see that Mikayak is kind of coming from the side. Now from an intuitive kind of point of view, you're saying, well, this is the side, I'm flanking. Right? But if you look in reality, he's going into the entire red team. The entire red team is looking at him, so he might as well just be in the front. This is really not going off the side at all. So he's in the front lines, and this is where Tracer's not very effective. And you're going to see here that he's in danger. So Mikai's doing a good job of knowing when he's in danger and knowing when to retreat. But as a result of this, he's not getting much damage in because he's constantly trying to worry about staying alive. He's constantly in the front, constantly in the scope of the enemy, in their full frontal attention, which means that he's spending most of this fight running away. Now, his team winds up cleaning up very nicely. He gets a little bit of help cleaning up those last few heroes, and it's whatever. But let's go back here. We're about to win the fight, so this Zarya is about to go down. He doesn't really even need to be shooting at her, but let's say he finishes her off, and here we go. 2%. Now, it's 1 second per percent. So that's a good way to keep track of time. The most essential skill to have as a flanker, so as Tracer as well, and this is something that is overlooked, not talked about at all, is time management. A flanker lives or dies based on positioning. He needs to utilize his time as much as possible to get into a good position. So it's 2% right now. The entire team just got wiped. Let's see what he does. We come up here, we're going to shoot the Genji a little bit. Obviously it's not going to do anything, right? Shoot him a little bit more, come over here. Decide what to do, poke through the door, come up here, look at the Genji again, wiggle around, and we're going to go back. And here we are, ready for the next push. That comes in right around now. So the other team is pushing in at this point. And it's 20%. We started at 2%, right? That was 18 seconds. 18 seconds. Think about how long that is in terms of Overwatch and being Tracer. Let's actually go into game and see where he could have gone in 18 seconds. So here we go. It's 24:18. We have until 24:00 to get somewhere. Remember, only use one blink at a time off cooldown. You don't want to burn all 3 blinks at once. There's no reason to do that. So we have 10 seconds left. We're already in this house. They're starting to respawn. We can scout out exactly what's happening, go into voice comms, tell our teams what's going on. So at this point, the other team will be pushing. We can come through, and now we're 100% behind them. We can get to anyone we want. They're not paying attention to us. We have full reign. But that's not where our star Mikayak wound up. Instead, we're back to 28% here, and we're here in this area that's kind of on the side, but really is in full frontal view, pretty much attacking from the front again. And I want us to pay particular attention to how his positioning is making it very, very difficult for him to do anything. So we're going to come in, and first of all, he needs to figure out what's happening. He doesn't actually know where anyone is at this point. He has to figure out what's going on. So now he sees his entire team. That was actually a really nice clip on the enemy soldier from the front. That was very good aim. But again, we're going to come through. He doesn't have a good view of the battlefield. Can't really see all the targets he has to go on. So he's going to go on the Genji, the Harmony Orb, a very, very difficult target for Tracer to really do a lot of damage to. He's still really far away. Finally, he sees some targets. But if you look for most of that fight, I would say a good 80% of that fight, a solid 80%, he was just running around looking for people to attack. Now the fight's over, and again he could be using this time to go get into a good position because he's not really doing anything at the front here. He'd easily be behind by now, but it's pretty clear that Mikayak is not a mechanically bad player. He's actually quite good. He has good aim, he has good situational awareness. If you notice, he hasn't died yet. He has good management of his health bar. It's just his positioning is making it very difficult for him. So here he's going to accidentally wind up in a good position because the entire team is looking behind him. Look at how effective this is. This is not a different player. It's the same player, but because no one's attention is on him, he just coincidentally happens to be behind them because they're facing that way. he can come in here and do a ton of damage. He's gotten 2 kills. He just got D.Va out of her mech. He just, a little Amy-wamey there, but we just got baby D.Va killed. And so he actually had quite a bit of impact in that fight just because he was behind the other team, and that happened to be an accident. The other team was looking the other way. But that could happen every fight if he consciously went out and tried to get that back position. This round, we're going to see that he gets a little bit of a better angle at the start of the match, but he makes a mistake that is very easy to make on Tracer, just sort of the natural, instinctive thing that you want to do. So he's going to come around here, good path. He's going to see the enemy, he's going to go straight in. 1 blink, 2 blink. So I know that blink hit the wall, but it probably would have been worse if it actually went forward because the Hanzo might have just scatter arrowed his feet or something. But now we're down to 1 blink, and he pretty much has committed to say he wants to go in at this point. If at all possible, you do not want to use blinks to get into a fight. You're supposed to use blinks during the fight. So if you have to use 1 maybe to get up close because you're at an awkward angle, that's okay. But 2 is really, really pushing it, especially for such a dangerous area like this. You have a Mage, he can one-tap you. A Hanzo, he can one-tap you. There's a Roadhog in the other team, he can hook you. There's so many ways that he could be dying, and he only has 1 blink. So that's going to make him a lot less effective coming into this fight, even though he has kind of an okay angle. So you see, he's out of blinks at this point. Completely out of blinks, meaning the next thing that happens to him, he's going to have to recall instead of continuing to fight. He almost gets the Mercy, but the Roadhog comes up, and instead of having a lot of blinks, now his blink just came up, and he didn't know this, which is understandable, but if he had more blinks, he could have just blinked right past, kept killing the Mercy, but instead he has to recall away from the Roadhog and sort of retreat, which means that the Mercy's going to wind up living. They're going to wind up cleaning this fight up, but you can see how just that small mistake, going in with the extra blink or 2, saved the Mercy and could have easily, if this fight was a little bit closer, could have easily turned the fight into the red team's favor. So what I mean with the blink thing is, we're back in this section by the way, let's say you're playing Tracer and you come from this sort of mediocre frontal angle, somewhere around here, and you want to get to their supports. Now, if their supports are like back here where they should be, hiding behind cover somewhere, you have to dive past their team to get to them because the supports are in the back and you're in the front. The way you do that is you have to blink. So you'd have to blink, and there you go, now you're attacking the supports. But now, you only had 1 blink left. That's going to make you way less effective for the fight that you're going to have to wind up fighting afterwards. If you would come from a better angle, like maybe we started and we came all the way around here, and we came around, blah, 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 and we start from behind, now you can just walk up like this, and you still have a full 3 blinks to utilize. That's 3 times the mobility. That's a huge improvement. And it's going to make it a lot easier to actually fight people, finish people off, because remember, you can only stay in a fight for as long as you have blinks up. Once your blinks are gone, you're pretty much going to die. You have to recall and you have to retreat. So more blinks means more staying power, means more damage, means Mikaik can finish off his targets more easily. So that's about all I have to say for this video. I want you to look in this last clip and try to figure out for yourself what Mikaik could be doing a little bit differently, because you're going to see that his effectiveness is again going to be severely cut by the angle he takes. He's going to just sort of be in the front, and it's going to mean that it's too dangerous for him to go in and have the impact that he has to have. The main point I want to get across is when you're on that flank, when you're on Tracer, Genji, use your time very wisely. Get into a good position, because no matter how mechanically gifted you are, no matter how good you are at aim and at awareness and all of that, it's all going to be for nothing if you aren't at the right place at the right time. So to summarize, when you're on those flanking heroes, when you're on that Tracer, on that Genji, really take the time. And I know it's hard. I know instinctively you don't want to, because when you play Tracer or Genji, you feel like you all the time. But out of anyone else in the hero pool, flankers reward patience and positioning the most. So next time you're in a match, step back, take a breather, ask yourself, am I in the best position? And if you're not, you never know, you might have 18 seconds to fix it. Anyway, good luck in solo queue, and have a great night. Peace out, guys.
Nice.
Round 2, 1.
Ooh. 16 kills, 0 deaths.
Yep.
32 kills, 0 deaths.
Score